Number 1. The 1904 Marathon, powered by Brandy and strychnine. Picture sports science, when electrolytes meant whatever's in a gentleman's cabinet. St. Louis, 1904. Heat, dust, traffic on the course, almost no water because officials believed dehydration toughened runners. Thomas Hicks, flagging hard, had handlers, allowed then, who reached for what passed as a stimulant, tiny strychnine doses, the same chemical on rat poison labels, plus brandy for the nerves. Nothing says endurance like hallucinatory pesticide cocktails. Spoonful by spoonful, he revived just enough to stagger onward, supported so closely it bordered on carrying. A grim parade where the cheer was, "Please don't collapse." To his era, this sat on a continuum of tonics and nerve foods. Physicians debated. Some insisted microdoses stimulate the spinal cord. Others winced. The finish was triumph and red flag simultaneously. He lived, won, and spent hours recovering like a science exhibit labeled consequences. The aftermath helped nudge future organizers toward hydration protocols, medical oversight, and the basic premise that a race isn't a pharmacology dare. Modern takeaway? If your Gatorade recipe needs a skull and crossbones, maybe pivot to oranges. Sports evolved, rules tightened. The myth of grit via poison faded under, water stations. Also, sandwiches, real ones, work better than hallucinated ones. Number 2. Bayer's non-addictive heroin. Late 19th century labs were cranking out derivatives like a candy shop with Latin names. In 1898, diacetylmorphine debuted. Early testers said it made them feel heroic, so branding did the math. Meet heroin, now in soothing syrups and ampules for coughs, colds, and, as the pitch went, helping morphine users taper. Doctors, facing real pain and real dependence, were hopeful. Pharmacology was young. Double-blind trials weren't default. Advertising wore a tuxedo. The first months looked great. Of course they did. It works. A lot. Soon, patterns emerged. Tolerance, dependence, and patients who swapped one chain for another. Medical journals cooled. Regulators warmed. Public health voices got louder than the brochures. By the 1910s to 1920s, controls tightened. The non-addictive claim withered under clinical reality. The episode became a cautionary case study. Lab novelty not equal miracle, especially when the molecule is 2 doors down from morphine on the biochemical cul-de-sac. It did stop coughing, primarily by activating horizontal mode for 12 hours. The silver lining was institutional. Stronger scrutiny, labeling standards, and a growing culture of proof over panache. And somewhere, a marketing department had to retire the word heroic for a very long time. Number 3. Cocaine wine and the age of glowing testimonials. Enter Vin Mariani, Bordeaux infused with coca leaf extract, sold as invigorating, modern, très chic. In a world where exhaustion was common and labor was long, stimulants read as progress. A brilliant promoter courted letters from luminaries, writers, doctors, even popes, praising the pep. Imagine influencer marketing, but with wax seals. Salons sipped, muses allegedly awakened, and a dozen imitators corked their own tonics. The pharmacology wasn't imaginary. Coca has kick. The cultural context was a stew. Industrial fatigue, romanticism about genius, and 0 push notifications, unless you count the heartbeat. Over time, caution and regulation rose. The beverages faded or reformulated, Invigorating rebranded to refreshing, which pairs better with sleep. What endures is the template. A buzzy compound, respectable endorsements, glowing anecdotes, and a slow pivot when the risk-benefit ledger gets audited. The story is less evil cabal, more everyone loved shortcuts until the bill arrived. Tasting notes: blackberry, oak, and doing your entire spring cleaning at 2:11 a.m. for no reason. File it with the timeless lesson that creativity prefers rest and sunlight to chemistry homework. Number 4. So, did Coca-Cola have cocaine? In 1886, early formulations used coca leaf extracts in an era when such things were fashionable and vaguely medicinal. Soda fountains were quasi-pharmacies, where the bow tie conferred credibility, and tonic could mean anything from sugar to a small existential crisis. As laws evolved and public attitudes shifted, suppliers moved to decocainized leaves. The brand recalibrated around caffeine, sugar, and advertising so potent it may as well be its own molecule. The myth endures because the origin story is tangled in the patent medicine swamp. What matters is the regulatory arc, from add whatever to define, test, disclose, and from secret syrups to standards you can read without a microscope. Today's can contains bubbles, caramel color, and nostalgia. Not a miniature ski resort for your neurons. Also, flavor scientists replaced wild idea with focus group, which is safer if less cinematic. If you crave a stimulant rush, try getting 8 hours of sleep, truly the original limited edition flavor. Number 5. Laughing gas parties and ether frolics. Early 1800s chemistry had a showman streak. Demonstrators like Humphrey Davy toured with nitrous oxide, inviting volunteers to inhale and then dissolve into giggles, poetry, or furniture appreciation. Science fair meets slapstick. Davy noticed something profound amid the chaos. Pain diminished. Meanwhile, ether exhibitions in the 1840s wowed crowds, with brave volunteers becoming temporarily unbothered by pinpricks. The public saw novelty. A few observers glimpsed anesthesia's future. Unfortunately, frolics weren't careful. Overdoses, falls, and the timeless hazard known as stares. The medical profession gradually reclaimed these gases from parlors to operating rooms, swapping bowler hats for careful dosing, sterile technique, and someone sober at the controls. The difference between breakthrough and boondoggle is a protocol. Out of the pratfalls emerged one of medicine's greatest advances: surgery with humane pain control. Also, a pile of party anecdotes that aged like milk. The moral isn't never experiment. It's experiment with consent, oversight, and fewer ottomans. And maybe don't call it a frolic if there's a risk of concussing your violinist. Up next, we're digging into the time armies thought they could outrun basic biology with, let's call them, pep pills. We're talking soldiers staying awake for days and questioning reality. And after that, a charming little Cold War project that seems to have misplaced the dictionary page with the word consent. Part 2 is premiering very soon. Tap that notify me button right on the end screen, or better yet, hit subscribe and ring the bell so the algorithm doesn't hide it from you. If this chaotic history roast made you smarter, or at least more skeptical of anyone in a uniform, please do the Holy Trinity. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss the next deep dive. It's the only performance-enhancing boost we endorse. And unlike the ones we're about to discuss, this one is free and won't make you see shadow people.